Hello, everyone. How everyone doing? Welcome. Simulation Talk 302. Wait a moment for everybody to arrive from TikTok. What's up, Guru? Haven't seen you yesterday. Hope everything is good. Ebony, how are you? How are you guys doing? Base trading is here. Good to see everyone. Okay, let's put our website here. What up, everyone? Welcome, Simulation Talk 302. Let's kick this off. Oh, let's open, of course, our Discord group. So opening it now. Oh, I see there's an interesting discussion going on. I'll check it in a moment. What's up, Grateful Human? Good to see you. Thank you so much for the likes. Pat, how you doing? Thank you, Guru, for placing the chat. What's up, Legal Easy? If you guys want to jump on, then feel free to do so. But just make sure that you raise your hand. Why is it not working? Hold on. Weird. Huh. Hold on 1 second here. That is strange. What up? D. Delano, Parker, Tsunami. Welcome, everyone. If you guys want to come on, just raise your hand. I can bring you up. What's up, Evil Icon? Okay. Let's jump in. How everybody doing today? Simulation Talk 302, baby. What's up, Nico? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Slowly getting up there. Up, whoop, whoop. What up, Jay? Okay, let's see what we can dive into today. Today there's obviously a lot more of all the news, as you know. But let's see if we can maybe focus on more positive things. Thank you, Nico. Appreciate it. Let's see if there's a few discussions we can bring and chat about. Got to fix the TikTok algo. Yeah, either that or just let it go. TikTok, I feel, is like I don't know. I feel very ambivalent about it. Let me look at this. Hmm. Roasted rice green tea. I like it, Guru. Thank you for sharing. What's up, Jay? Thank you, Nico. Appreciate that. This really feels, I will definitely move on to a different topic in a moment. Just so maybe as a side note, like this whole thing feels so surreal. It really feels so out of place. Although, let me turn on the light. Definitely feels like it marks a very important moment in history of some sort. My hair has been misbehaving recently. What up, Howdy? It's definitely a turning point. See, the simulation is now without irony. I don't know if it's out of place. I don't think so. I think it's exactly according to what needs to happen. It's just interesting how it's unfolding. Like, if you want to think in simulation terms, it's kind of perfect. The person who started an organization called Turning Point, the point actually became a real turning point the second he was assassinated. So, if that's not simulation at its best, I don't know what is. What I was pleasantly surprised to discover was how many people actually it made them snap out of whatever trance they were in. That's very encouraging. I see it more and more. There's actually a lot more people. I never really realized there was a lot more people that are actually snapping out of it than the people that you see, celebrating and things like this. It's funny. I've seen a lot of creators, including myself. For me, it wasn't that pronounced. I guess most of my audience is more aligned with me than I realized, which is great and very encouraging. But a lot of creators basically said on the first day after posting just condolences, they lost a bunch of followers. But then the next day, I think today I saw some posts, people gained like 5 times more followers. So that tells you that actually it was absolutely true that the very loud minority was making way too much noise, and now the people who are usually quiet because they don't deal with that stuff, they just kind of snap out of it, and they're like, "Yo, enough." And that's very encouraging. I feel very hopeful. But as my friend pointed out today, he said the masks are sleeping, man. It's there's no other descriptions to it. This is actually where the word evil actually fits. This is, make no mistake. If you see somebody celebrating this, this is not. I'm not using it as a derogatory term. But this is. If you ever wonder what evil actually looks like, that's evil. That is what evil looks like. Is when you rejoice in other people's suffering. That is evil. And just if you feel these things bubbling inside of you, I would assess myself very strongly, because everything has a price. Everything has a price, and be very careful with what you're allowing in and to express through you. So you might have like small sentiments like this, for example. Again, I would look very closely at what's going on there, because even if there's a button there, again, look at it very closely. It's my personal advice to you. Look at it very closely. It's going to end very badly for you. That I can guarantee you. So there's no more fooling around it. It's not a drill, folks. If this is operating within you, reach out to people that you feel you can talk to. They will listen, they will understand, and dig in. Find it, make it go away. if today I had a little bit of a back and forth with a few people, so the very easy story to grab is obviously the Jesus story, and in that context, things can be explained pretty easily, right? So these are basically demonic possessions, things like this. Um, I think that, funny enough, it's probably not that far from the truth. It's just that I would use a little bit more of a, my own frame on it, and I would say that these are just malevolent malware. There's software that their whole thing is to propagate, and they find a host that is willing to entertain these ideas, and the reciprocation is that they give them energy, but it's the wrong kind of energy. Because if you get energy from other people's suffering, that's there is no other word for that. So you can think of these softwares as demons for all intents and purposes, and it's in all of us. It's in me, it's in you, it's in everybody. The only question is, do you feed it? Do you allow it to thrive? Do you make it part of the central part of your identity? The reason that it's going to end up really bad for you is because they don't care about you. You're disposable. You think you're thriving in this energy with them, but the second you're disposable, you will you'll be casted aside, and you would be a shell of your actual self. There's no way around this. Like, this is as serious as it gets. It's a battle for your soul. Make sure you pay attention. I remember that guy who got mad at me and lost control for giving him a Bible chapter. Oh, you mean like you met someone? All this evil that's unveiling. Do you believe we are reaching a tipping point in the simulation? Yeah, this is the way I view it is it's kind of like the branding, the marking. I call it the great marking. It is so all events in the simulation, they are actually not primary. They are just tools to bring out everybody's nature. So whatever happens, how you react how you react because of what happened shows what is your true nature. So people mark themselves by speaking. They don't understand. So like this orgy of demonic joy at the perishing of a human, like truly like joy, like I'm sure you've seen the videos, right? Like look at that. Just look at it. Now, what the funny thing is that people are basically telling you what they are or what they signed a contract with. So if you believe in the resurrection, if you believe in rapture, how do you think? What is the easiest way to discern who's supposed to go where? It's behavior. People's behavior is the marker. So, because the behavior is ultimately the reflection of your inner state. And imagine what your inner state has to be for you to be in joy for the loss of a human being. Yeah. What is encouraging, though, how do I get rid of disturbing images? My code brain keeps injecting it. Yeah. Your OCD said. I'm sorry, brother. That's yeah. That's how PTSD starts developing. So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because it definitely can metastasize and become almost like like another malware inside your brain. It's not fun. So the truth is, the good news is that the images will subside. Eventually it does subside. It takes about a week, and then about 2 weeks, you will think about it a lot less. In the meanwhile, maybe use this opportunity to actually go inwards instead of running away, instead of attaching a fear response to the images. So like the images, you get nauseous, you get all of that. So you look away inside your mind, you look away, you're like, oh my God, be with it. Be with it. It's already in your head. Not going to run away. It's part of your code. So the only way to make it go away is to fully process it, which is very difficult. And we all carry our own cross, so to speak. That is part of your cross. And thank you for carrying it, but somebody has to process that information properly. So maybe it can be you. Because the weight of the situation cannot dawn on people until they fully process what in fact is going on. And one thing that I hope is perfectly clear for everybody, and if not, let me make sure to make it super clear. Anger is natural. And it's something that will come up, but anger is the handle that these demonic softwares are using to trap you as well. This is exactly how the sausage is made. That just by injecting these terrible events, by having people at each other's throats, it's exactly how it propagates. It convinces you that there's an enemy on the other side, and it says, I'll be your friend, I'll show you how to destroy the enemy. Righteousness is a very dangerous emotion in this case. So you can feel a lot of anger and a lot of emotion, but make sure that you transmute it into love. And you transmute it into the understanding that from here on, we have, as I saw, I don't know who that was, but the guy was talking after they captured the guy. He said, we either escalate or we find an off-ramp. Let's find an off-ramp. I do not believe that it has to be the end of civilization. I think that what this is a marker of where civilization split. But I do believe it is the end, absolutely, of the civilization that wants to live this way. So in the past, these kind of moments were won in battles. I think that the test for humanity in the simulation is, have we learned a different way? Can we transmute the situation into the best thing that has ever happened and commemorate Charlie's memory with the best thing that any human could possibly imagine? That his work and his end marked the beginning of the greatest period of human civilization. Can we make that happen? The only way to make it happen is to have as much understanding and engage in difficult conversations with one another, and understand that if we're just going to keep going back and forth, eventually the world will be blind, because it's all eye for an eye. So let's find new ways of conversation, but with serious emphasis, the importance of these communications. So under that banner, and this will involve a lot of people on this chat, you might want to tone down the voice in your head that tells you about everything that's wrong with the world, with you, with how everything is up, how the evil cabal wants to do this or that, how there's hidden forces that are outside of your control, that are constantly causing your life to be worse. You might want to tone that voice down, because that voice is exactly what I'm talking about. Try and do your best to see the most beautiful things that are available to you. Look at Guru, for example. Every day he tells us what tea makes, and it makes him the happiest, and it makes us the happiest. Yeah. I think that this is exactly what I believe it will go exactly the other way than what the shooter was intending and the people were rejoicing. That moment, 1 million Charlies were born. 1 million of them. When you shoot light, you get more light. It's really funny, my friend, the same friend that told me this today, he said he started by sending me pictures of all the people on his account and on my account that that um, commented negative things about just the video that I posted about, just saying this is terrible. Some of them I actually know. It's really crazy how people operate. And he said, you know what's funny? And then he sent me pictures of their profiles. Look at all their profiles. They all have like love and this and doves, and they'll have love on their thing. There's a peace and love. It's me, it's you, it's love. Everybody love, love. If you don't live what you preach, it's worth nothing. What do you think we're seeing more anger in the world? Do you think anger at people has increased, or has it always been at a certain level? There's always this. This is exactly Carl Jung's idea of the shadow, which is that we all have the shadow self, but you can't eradicate it because it's part of everything. Shadow is not something you eradicate because it's part of the world. So every instance of the shadow that you reject in yourself, pretend like it's not there, it has to go somewhere. So it goes through your attention somewhere else. That's Carl Jung's idea. So the more you pretend you're perfect and you just can't handle the fact that you have all of these things, you project them on other people. And I don't know if it was orchestrated. Some people say it was orchestrated, but I want to make it perfectly clear. But even if it was, don't get into the mindset of like, okay, now we have to destroy that thing. No. That's exactly what it wants. It's way bigger than anything in this world. So we're not doing that. So I don't, but regardless, I don't know if it was orchestrated or not orchestrated. But what is for sure, and this has been studied, just so you know, you can go and look it up. Since 2012, it became a crazy rise in rhetoric that had to do with all the stuff that we now know as social justice. But when you actually track the metrics that have to do with the actual plights that are being complained about, from racism to inequality to all of the things that you guys are familiar with, all of these metrics always go up. So like they go up not in how bad they are, but in how good they are. So they, or I guess you can say, subside in how bad they are. So everything gets better, and yet people somehow got more and more and more animated and more angry about things that happened in the past. Now, maybe even to some of you here, it would be kind of difficult to see why shouldn't we be, talking about things, wrongs that were done in the past. You can talk about it, but if you're making them modern problems that don't exist anymore, and of course everybody wants to be on the right side, so they're projecting on the other. So they say, oh, like I'm fine, but you are oppressing me, you are doing this, you are doing that, and that's eventually what you see. So there's a people that obviously were talking about it for a long time. Sam Harris is one of them. There's quite a few people that noticed this a long time ago, which is like, dude, this is humanity that is going off a cliff. And I guess people just don't pay attention. It's in the energy. It's in the energy. It's when there's the victim mentality, you live in the best possible world. You live in the best possible world that has ever existed on earth. And yet people, it's the media that keeps pushing this thing that everything is terrible. So again, I don't know if it was orchestrated. I'm sure to some degree it was. By whom, for what, I'm not sure. I'm sure for different reasons. But regardless, this is definitely an injection of an idea, a bad idea, a wrong idea, or sets of wrong ideas, and it's injected into society, and then it's used to raise a whole generation. So the thing that is sometimes difficult to appreciate is that it's not just that they've convinced people over a period of a year or two. They raised an entire generation of people who were born in 2000. The guy was 22, right? So think about this. He was born in 2003. He was born in 2003. He was born after 2000. All he knew since he became a young adult, because around that time, 2011, 2012, he was stepping into his teens. So all he knew is that. It literally was his identity. Now, I don't know the details, to be quite honest, because I hear conflicting things with like that he was only recently radicalized, but the seeds of these ideas, or the seeds that allow for these ideas to propagate, were already planted back then. Because if all you know is, yeah, sure, the white man oppresses, the this, the that, instead of actually looking at individuals, like when you're getting to a job interview, so the people who propagate these ideas, right, they're like, oh, well, so a person of color would come to a job interview that already thinks about these things. It goes like, oh, he's already looking for every single reason as to where he can find this other thing. Like, it can't be that they're not qualified. It can't be. No. That guy was a racist. They did a study. They put makeup on women with scar. I forget the exact details, but basically they had him go to a job interview, but there was a fake job interview. But then I forget what the setting. I should probably find it. It was very interesting. So they put a big scar on their faces, and with makeup, and then they sent them to this fake job interview. And right before, they kind of told them, "Hey, well, hold on," and then they did something. They told them, "I'm just gonna, do something else, whatever it was," and then they completely removed that scar. That scar wasn't on their face anymore. But they went into the job interview thinking they have the scar, and without fail, the majority of women who went to that job interview said, "Oh, he was looking at me funny. It was definitely because of the scar, 100% because of the scar." They were convinced. And they're like, "You have no scar." It's how you see what you see the world as is what you're basically gonna receive as your memory of it. And that is the simulation within the simulation. You convince yourself of all these things instead of looking at every situation anew. Like, now, what is it now? Having a chip on your shoulder shows up in the world. It's not invisible. When you have a chip on your shoulder because you think everything is terrible and you think you're always oppressed for whatever reason, then when you show up to anything, you think that it's invisible, people pick up on it immediately. You have an attitude. You're difficult to deal with. Why would I want to hire you? You're going to be difficult to be around. Think about that for a second. And this is where it all comes from. And then you have an entire generation that make them believe all these truly Marxist ideas. This is not propaganda. This is like the propaganda is it's not propaganda to say it happened. This actually happened. You can see it like in college campuses. It's just basically how kids are raised now. Like these ideas are very prominent. They're almost fundamental at this point. And this is just a cyclical thing. It happens again and again and again. People rediscover it. When you live long enough, you notice this and you go, whoa, this literally repeats. It literally repeats. So the question is, can we now get out of it? Can we not repeat it again? Michael saying you should put your camera on stage on Discord. That too. No, I think it's going to create a weird feedback, and also there's a delay. There's a delay between Discord and plus there's not that many people on Discord usually. So, can you still see a code in the mirror? Tsunami is asking. Yes, absolutely. But it's going to have to be on the edge. I mean, obviously, you don't want to project the laser on the mirror because it's going to bounce right back into your eye. What's up, Alien? Isak. We're seeing high level of mental disorder because of the environmental factor. Being immersed in social and digital media is doing a lot of damage to people. Are slowly. I don't necessarily know if it's exactly that. It definitely plays a role, but it's the kinds of ideas that are vitiating and are propagating through these. Awesome. Building a laser. It's like programming in computer. To learn new ways of reaction, you need to evaluate always. Yep, exactly. So being able to truly be a universal being, you have to be able to shed everything you think you know and then approach every single situation anew, as if it's completely like it never happened before. Divide and conquer so that your support is on the guardrails and rules, not your relationships. Destroy faith in the elected representative process effectiveness to ground, polarize into two groups. No wiggle room, and not enough focus on common ground. Yeah, I've been saying that I agree with this, and I truly don't know. It really is. There's no comparison at this point. You always have the crazies everywhere, right? Well, usually not in the center because it's just done that. Not it's too boring for the crazies. So you have crazies on the left and the right, absolutely, and the crazies on the right are scary. There's no question about that. But it's almost like a given, right? It's always kind of like accepted. You always have these radicals. But what happened to the left recently? There's no comparison. There's no comparison to the right. There's just none. Doesn't exist. It's just like it's not a small percentage. It's an enormous percentage of the left that just went bonkers. Because if you notice like the behavior is straight up fascist, and it actually is like, because the definition of it is that you are intolerant of any idea that is against what the status quo is, and you respond with violence. So like if you remember not long ago when people were burning Teslas and all of that, it doesn't matter that you disagree. It makes no difference whatsoever. Like you go and you're gonna burn people's property, and that's like enormous amounts of people that did this. So there's no comparison. And also, again, all of the stuff that I know you guys probably heard people making these comparisons, but they're important to linger on. There is no equivalence at this point. It's just there's none. I'm ashamed to say it as someone on the left, but there's no equivalence anymore. You don't see, like, imagine what would happen, just like what would happen after George Floyd, right? All the riots and all the stuff and looting stores. What does that got to do with anything, right? Think about this for a second. Oh, because they're angry with it. No, they're not. Okay, people are angry right now on the right. Here's your example. People are angry on the right. Do you see any looting? Do you see any rioting of anything? Just pause on that for a second. Just truly allow yourself to pause on that for a second. Do you see any riots somewhere? Do you see stores being burned? Do you see people attacked? No? Huh. Interesting. So who's the party of tolerance and peace at this point? It is shameful, but it is true. The left lost their minds. And the people who are supposed to be more, kind of like moving things around, not doing anything about it. They're not correcting their own party. So it's not about political left and political right, but within the party, you still need some thing that everybody kind of collect around, some ideal, something that has to do with a positive outlook of the future. What do we build? What are we for? All the left does is just resisting things. We're against this, we're against that, we're against everything. Like I said before, if you're against things, you will never make things done. You have to be for things. And all the people that have agendas that have to do with destruction are piggybacking on this crazy energy on the left. If ever you had the scientific, like, full, like, actual example of the difference between the two. This would imagine what would happen if this would happen to a strongly left-leaning individual. God forbid. Imagine this would happen. There would be mayhem right now, chaos. There's no question about that. That is not how democracy works. That is how radical left regimes function. This is Marxist. This is fascist. It really is. These are not slurs. This is the definition of what that is. It's just that we just need to mature as a species. So it has to stop being about like the political thing. It has to be just like, hey, we meet as people. Hey, how you doing? Okay, just like I see you, not the slogans. I see you. Okay, I'm watching you behaving. I'm watching you doing your thing. I'm listening to you. I'm not listening to the. We should stop talking through these slogans. Yeah, here's another nutcase saying there is no left or right. It's all is this Israel Catholic Bank. Get the fuck out of here with this nonsense. Fucking idiots. Hey, anybody with IQ 60 and down, don't be on this chat. Thank you. See, this is the thing. Then there is moments like these, which I feel absolutely no remorse whatsoever at calling someone out, because there is a time for a conversation. But if somebody comes with ideas that are so absurdly idiotic and one-dimensional, and not only don't even track reality, but in fact incites the actual violence that we see arising, at that point you go, yeah, get the fuck out of here. We're not even having a conversation. That's it. Out. There's no place for this, because that person is beyond conversation, and they're signaling that with the thing that they're saying, because they're presenting something that is absurd and just putting it as a fact. This is how the internet becomes a problem. That it has nothing to do with the political right or left. It's all the Catholics and the Jews. That's somebody asked what they said. If you know nothing about the world, listen and learn. You're not in a position to dictate anything. Definitely think that there are efforts being made to make people angry and have them fighting each other. Absolutely. Someone benefits from this. Yeah. Yesterday I shared Chase Hughes' video. I highly recommend everybody watch it. Maybe I'll even reshare it now if you guys haven't shared it. I put it on Discord, and you guys can check it out on Discord, but I'll put it here again. Let's see. Funny enough, even what's his name, Dave Smith, even there's this video of him talking, like when people started saying all this stuff about like Israel did this, like even he said Guys, what are you talking about? This is insane. You guys are crazy. Just, I was actually very surprised he said this, but okay, let me find the. But I got to give him the credit. He was not a one-trick pony this time. Oh, there it is. It's called the tipping point share. If you guys are gonna go to YouTube, yeah. Thank you so much, Ali, for asking that beautiful question. Makes me feel good. Yeah, fatherhood is amazing. Feels really wonderful. Um, yeah, I'm waiting to visit until we mature. Yeah, something like that. What does that point look like when we mature? Evan Hansen. I don't know. I don't know who that is. Yeah, Ali. Evan Hassan. Evan Hassan. Who is that? Who is he? I just googled. I don't know who that is. UAP shot with a missile? No. UAP shot with a missile. Let's see. Hold on. I'm watching it now. Huh? No, I haven't seen it. That's really crazy. Just now saw it. Yeah, I actually watched it from. If you guys know what Falcon Space Labs is, Mike Sokol is the engineer that they're trying to reverse engineer UAPs and create anti gravity technologies. So we were literally I was literally watching it from their lab. It was kind of cool. You guys saw the code of the laser? Yes, sir. What's up, son? Yeah, you can go look it up right now. Obi-Wan saying UK playbook. Blue versus red. A man with the common touch appears as if by magic. Right on time. UK voters swung from blue to red in droves, but there's no progress and the frustration is channeled. Yeah, there's a high level of social intelligence on the right at this point in time. At least they're not as emotionally hijacked. So left and right is just division maintained by the ruling elites by dividing and conquer using duality, chaos and order. Now they're using the left as chaos and the right as order for order. I'm not so sure that to what degree they're controlling it, but they're definitely controlling the narrative. So they don't really care how people fight. They just care about them fighting. I don't think there's just too many parameters to actually control in terms of exactly how it's going to come about. But yeah, I agree that there's definitely all of this manipulation happening behind a wall we can't see. Well, I don't know. I think you can probably guess what my take on cancel culture is. It's probably the worst cancer that this earth has ever seen. What do we have to do to help mankind thrive towards peace without civil wars, or is it inevitable? I sure hope. Quick question. I sure hope that it's not inevitable. I do think that we will see the best days are ahead of us, and I do think that this is actually what the turning point is that we're waking up. that this is not a drill and we have to take this seriously, and we have to actually be the ones that engage in the process, in the conversation. Can no longer sit by the sideways and just bring the balance back into the picture. The realist and most direct change that you can impart on the world is the one that comes from within. Absolutely, it's what emanates everything. What's up, game? Ghost Starseed said, "Oh, 100%. What are the chances it's occurring in multiple locations in the same fashion? Surrendering judgment to an external authority expert." Well, you can explain this by thinking of these ideas as software. So the software propagates through minds. The minds are the nodes. So what you see arising everywhere is because the internet. So these ideas propagate in the internet and then they execute everywhere. So that's actually not that hard to explain. The things that left virtue signal towards does it sound pre-rational, sound almost similar to advanced understanding, post-rational, but in less advanced than the rational current right. I think it's too convoluted. What's up, Mike? Politics is divide and conquer strategy and practice in every country. Well, I don't necessarily agree. So the politics is important. Like, so you think about it this way: healthy politics is supposed to be the. So I really like David Deutsch's definition. And politics is the science and the engineering of what to do next. That's what it is. In order to make decisions collectively, you have to have some mechanism by which you're doing that. You have to organize. People are not naturally predisposed to cooperate in large numbers. In order to do that, you have to collect people around a common idea. That's what ideologies are. There's nothing wrong with that because you innately, because you need that. Otherwise, you can't cooperate in groups larger than 100 people. A group that 100 people, you can kind of do something, right? You can talk, you can do a talk, you can propagate the idea, and you can create some, villages. That's basically the idea. The second you start going anything larger than that, we're not genetically predisposed to be able to operate in that way because we can't keep track of this many relationships and understanding. We're incapable of taking the temperature of what everybody wants just by being in their presence when there's too large of a number of people. So that's actually the impediment, right? If I'm with 3 people, if we're trying to decide where we want to go, we can kind of land on it. It's like, maybe eat, I don't know, whatever. You just kind of feel each other out. 10 people, a little harder. 100 people, hard. You need a leader, right? Probably a few. Anything beyond that, impossible. So you need a mechanism. And that's why we created governing bodies. That's normal. The fact that you can hijack these, because you can hijack any form of power, that's a separate issue. So vilifying the tools that we've built in order to be able to, we made it work to some extent, right? Countries cooperate. There's a lot of hijacking of power, and the people abuse power for sure, right? But I mean, it works. I mean, it works. I mean, there's roads, there's rockets, it works. There's enormous companies. It works. But we need to find. I think that what's going on is that we're going through another phase transition where now we're moving from not a village to a city, or from a city to a country. We're going from countries to global, because it's very clear that because the lines are blurred by the fact that we can communicate across the world and we can travel across the world. So it becomes a lot looser, but now we need to find a new system. There needs to be some kind of a new system. So again, vilifying the system because it's not perfect doesn't make a lot of sense. What we want is when I acknowledge the benefits of what the current system gave us, and now create a new system that we build on top of it that will serve the greater good. So you will need some governing body for the world, but how you how you arrange it, that's the conundrum, right? How do you it might have some jurisdiction for certain things, maybe no jurisdiction for other things. The United States of America, to some degree, is kind of like an early attempt of kind of working between the federal and the local and all of that. Again, not perfect, but it's by no means doesn't work. Like, it definitely works. And because we managed to function for hundreds of years. So we definitely need a new system. Like I said before, maybe the world government will only have things to say on things happening in space. I don't know, just an example, right? So we kind of distribute the power in a way that is much more relevant to what this entity was formed for. Now, I personally believe that the shift has to happen, like people pointed out here, from the inside. We have to first change. So, because when you have individuals who are ethical truly inside, then the systems that they collect, that they become, that the systems are built out of people, they become also ethical, because most people that are in them are ethical. So both of them have to happen at the same time. We can call the system layer. Yeah, layer 1, layer 2. That's a good way. That's a good distinction. And you always want to stay away from one-liners and slogans. So, for example, M is saying world government is idea of new world order, right? So notice what happens here. You say new world order, then you have something associated with that world. New world order. Oh, right? But just drop the slogans. Just think about functions. What is it for? These slogans will get you nowhere. They only divide, because people have all kinds of ideas. They have an emotional thing that is connected to it. That well was already poisoned. Think about what it's for. You need an organization, you need a layer that helps you make decisions on a large global scale. You must have that. You're not going to go without that. New world order implies control of the entire world. That's not what we're talking about. You need to create some layer that helps people make decisions collectively about things that will impact everybody. So that's the idea. Like, if we want to decide if we want to spend quote unquote global spending on going to Mars or going and explore beyond Mars, things like this, right? Like, right now, private companies are doing this. SpaceX is the only really game in town. But eventually, government will have to catch up, or we move to a completely, private companies model, which can also potentially work. The point is that these things are not easy, and all these ideas you hear from people. One thing I want to maybe help desensitize some of the listeners is that just because somebody said something with this, kind of like, oh, listen to me, kid, like nobody's noticing, but here's what's going on. It's just somebody's opinion. Like, yes, there's a lot of ideas that when you start seeing some parts of it playing out, it's very easy to say, see? No, I don't see. Things are very complex and unpredictable. So just because 3 things you said came to some extent to fruition does not mean that you figured the whole thing out. Reality has the very interesting tendency to happen in ways that nobody could foresee. And then, of course, in retrospect, everybody looking back is like, oh, see, I knew this, I knew that. I didn't. Most people have no idea what's going to happen next, even very smart people. So don't be so quick at judging the future by only what the people of the past were warning about. If we want to imagine a new future, it's up to us to do so. So we have to believe that these changes are possible. The thing that I think constantly being folded under is that people believe that, well, we just have to look at ancient wisdom. Like, and what are you? Like, you're not, you don't count? Like, you're here for nothing? The birth of responsibility is the recognition that you are also a player of the game. You can take ancient wisdom into account, but it is your job to make a choice about the future from where you're standing, with all the things you know that the people in the past did not know. We know a lot more. And we have a responsibility to take what people learned in the past, plus what we know currently, and build a future that the people in the past could never have imagined. That is the birth of responsibility. That is maturity. That is what a maturing civilization looks like. Understanding that the reins are in our hands and not in some prophecy. Familiar with the channel Predictive History? I'd like to hear your thoughts on his take on the world. It sounds by the name that it's about some of the stuff that I just said that I don't believe ever works, but maybe not. Let's see. No, I'm not familiar with the channel. Predictive History. I have to watch some of it, I guess, in order to comment on it. Maybe we can do it in the members live on Sunday. I like the handle this way is up. United Nations has failed. That's for sure. They also lost their scruples. Because it really is all about incentives and no actual real agendas solved of any kind. It's true that Ghost is saying, I always say that the system isn't the most important thing. It's the individuals that comprise the collective action. A bunch of enlightened individuals can make anarchy work. Doesn't mean that anarchy is great. Likewise, mentally, how people can make democracy look bad. Again, it's not democracy, it's the people and so forth. An idea is only as good as its application in practice. So all of it is true, aside from one correction that I would give it is that systems, however, can control a very large number of people. And if everybody would actually be paying super close attention to everything all the time, then yes, everything you said stands. But the truth is that most people don't. So you want to develop a system that helps even normal people to be closer in their behavior to heroes versus the requirement of heroes to stand out from the majority of people. You actually want a system that encourages to do the right thing, even for most people who don't, think that deeply or don't try that hard. The whole problem with the world, that's always is that fools and fanatics are always so certain of themselves and wiser people so full of doubts. Bertrand Russell, one of my favorite quotes, actually. So thank you for sharing. Ideally, the structure accounts for those idiosyncrasies and self-corrects. That was supposed to be the point of checks and balances. They are still holding up and large. Yeah, again, and I still think that the American system is actually the best one, with all the nonsense. Yeah, if you guys want to follow on TikTok, by the way, on Twitch, it's LaserX83. I forgot to mention LaserX83 on Twitch. First stab in transnational governance. Yeah, I guess it's the first. Yeah, I guess you're right. Even though they don't really function as a government entity, but you're right. It is the first attempt. Yeah, heard of the Bungasphere. My take is that it's fake. The best thing about the US is that it was formed by influxes from all those countries that were locking them out. Took their lives in their own hands and grew without taking from others. Yeah, There's actually a whole book, forget the name of it, that is about what makes the American gene so unique currently, even though now we see, some changes to it. It's because the people who arrived originally, the actual pioneers, literally they had to make something happen from literally scratch. So it became about frontiers. It became about discovering more. It's about going further and seeing what's there and then making it happen. And that got to some degree inculcated in the cultural genes, and something that we definitely, until this generation, we definitely saw a lot of it. Yeah, Swiss system of democracy, I'm familiar. There are other good systems. There's no question about it. But I think if you think about total, Switzerland, Switzerland is not that big, right? So if you're talking about larger and larger systems, I don't think the Swiss system would work. There's many reasons for that, but I mean, if you guys want, we can dive into this. But I think that considering the scale of the country, both in size and the number of people, I think it's pretty clear that that is as good as you're going to get for that level of scale. So now you can say what you're trying to maximize for. I'm perfectly happy to concede that if you're trying to maximize for well-being and nothing else, then the U.S. system is probably not the best one. I would agree with that wholeheartedly, and I think that there is a place for a conversation of how do you infuse more of systems that specialize in well-being, so to speak, and care about the individuals. But in the end of the day, the goods of the world, the majority of it, well, now China definitely is competing like big time, but it is actually surprisingly, China still just kind of imitates. They innovate here and there, but the majority of innovation still happens in the US. And all the people, the smartest people, they want to come here all the time. So you have to ask yourself why that is. America nourishes frontiers. That's what it is. And I think it's that spirit is still there. And I think America can absolutely come. Well, I don't think America ever fell off that chair because countries say all kinds of things, but ultimately, a lot of people want to come here all the time, and that's not exactly the case with other places. There is some places that even other Americans kind of like going to. There's like all kinds of expats hotspots all around the world, but we're not talking about the same numbers. Like, you're not talking about the same number of people that want to actually go the other way and go to America, right? Um, so that's just a fact of the matter. America still does most of the innovation in terms of technology and even cultural norms. So for what it's worth, that's what it is, right? So now I am very, very for eventually figuring out a way to also infuse more of the holistic and what is required to produce a healthy human and incorporate this into the American system. I think it's going to take a little bit more awareness and doing, obviously, but I think it's very doable. And again, frontiers. So the second this frontier is going to become apparently important, I think America will adopt it, and I think to some degree it's already adopting it. Yeah, well-being is not the thing that America is maximizing. That we would agree. I heard something today. Nico says what math is to physics, history is to politics. Do I agree? Yeah, I guess I agree with the general sentiment of it. China can engineer, America can innovate. China can mimic. China can copy like no other. They copy so good. It's crazy. Am I a cult leader? Yes, welcome to our cult. We are the common sense cult. It's a fractal multidimensional energetic simulation in a paradox on a sausage. Golden rule: treat folks as you would want them to treat you. For the heart of it, yes. Sad for what's happening in America now. Yeah, but we will rebuild. Toroid and Tolaroid all the way. Nico, you want to hear something funny? Or maybe you were there for that conversation. I don't know. They were trying to train an AI through all the lives, and the Carter told me that the AI started thinking that the Earth is a sausage. They can't use it. So now I'm saying it a lot less. That's amazing. All right. So I think I will. Daniel, how are you, brother? Finding the tone accurate to interpret distinctions. Modest first, node layers. I think we have highlight progress system concept 2. Yeah, I am just in that scale. Stoic. Hard stuff, organization are needed. How are you, brother? Indeed. I don't know enough about the Hungarian system, but happy to learn. Don't contaminate the training data for humor. Yeah. No, we have to, man. Come on. We can always correct folks. Like, hey, just ignore these comments about Earth being a sausage. Earth is a donut. It's a sausage. The universe is a donut. Earth is a sausage. Thank you, evil icon. That's really pretty. Oh, it disappeared. It was really pretty. Thank you, Em. Okay. I think we'll gently adjourn for today. Today is a little bit more calm. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. If you guys want to follow me across platforms, it'll be Danny Goller on Danny Dango, yeah, Daddy Goller or Dad Go, yeah. If you want to follow me across platforms, it will be Danny Goller on TikTok and Instagram. It will be Goller Danny on X, LaserX83 on Twitch, and Then Go Thoughts on YouTube. If you want to join the membership program on Sunday, every week we have members live for members only, which we dive much deeper into topics. So if you join the membership program on YouTube, you can join that. If you join from the second tier and up, you will get an invite to Zoom calls with me once a month. They're a lot of fun, so I highly recommend you do that. And it also membership also gives you early access to all my content. If you guys want to donate to the film still, we're now in post-production. You can find the trailer for the film on Dango Thoughts on YouTube, DANGO Thoughts on YouTube. It's called The Discovery. And under the trailer, in the bio, in the description, you have the page for the GoFundMe page. And you can donate to the film there if you feel like it. If you're a baller and you donate over $1,000, you will be added to the group of people that will see the movie for the first time ever in history, and I think that's pretty cool. But if not, don't worry, you still see the film. Come check out our website, codeofreality.com, where we have the merch, the lasers, and the protocols. Also, you can buy new merch from YouTube as well. I think there's some pretty cool items there, so go check it out and help the channel. And come join our wonderful Discord group, in which we have like-minded individuals who are sharing these ideas with incredible moderators there. You can find the link to that both on TikTok in the link tree and on YouTube on the main page. I'm actually going to switch the link because I think the link was kind of like expired or something. So I'm going to change the link. Come join our Discord group. What else? Want to thank our wonderful moderators, Ebony and Guru. Thank you so much, and Chris and Jessica. Appreciate you guys always doing hard work and always showing up and always doing all the wonderful things and helping out. Thank you, Evil Icon, for moderating for TikTok. I really appreciate you. And thank you so much for everybody for always participating and the audience. Nico, you're the best. Moldy, like is Moldy. Thank you so much for the old and the new audience members. Turtle, Subgraper. Obi-Wan, thank you so much. The Romb. Who else? This is the Way. Ghost. Gooby. If I'm not mentioning you, Mike. then don't take it personally. But I really, really do appreciate the audience members, the old and the new. Thank you guys. Oh, and I always forget, come check out my new show on Spotify called 0 to 1 with Danny Goller. From Earthbound Minds to Cosmic Citizens. That's a new show on Spotify, and I will be working on the next episode very, very soon. Might even be this month. So stay tuned to that. Appreciate you guys. See you tomorrow. Peace and love. Ciao, everyone. Wow. Okay, I have to practice how to do this without dropping the phone because it's crazy. Beautiful. Have a good night.